Okay, let's talk about some headlines in the state of Texas, some big doings around the state of Texas. Let's start with what came down yesterday. This came down yesterday. It was after our show because you were gone, because you had already left. You abandoned me. And that is that the Texas High School Coaches Association's annual convention and coaching school is going entirely virtual. It was scheduled for the 19th through the 21st in San Antonio at the Gonzalez Convention Center down there. And, of course, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, we were going to have our normal big booth. This was going to be your first time, THSCA.
Yes, it was.
We were going to do a ton of interviews and things like that. Obviously, right now, it is probably a bad idea for a lot of people to be gathered under the same roof.
Especially inside.
Yeah. So the THSCA is going virtual. Their entire convention is going to be virtual. It's important to note that this is not canceled. Everything is still happening with the exception of, like, you can't come up and like high five Pickle, and that's a shame. But everything else is still happening for the THSCA. Now, it's a couple of things that are worth noting. First of all, this is a pretty huge deal for them to pull the ripcord on this thing, because this is a huge event down there. I mean, last year they had more than 13,000 coaches in Houston. This is a huge event. Now, I have in talking with coaches, there were a not insignificant number of coaches who were not going, or either by choice or
their districts wouldn't allow them
to. Their districts, their bosses would not let them go, because there are a number of school districts around the state that have, like, travel bans, basically, that says, okay, you can't travel on, like, outside of the county on school business because we're trying to control the spread of coronavirus. That is so there were a number. I had heard this from a number of coaches that said that I don't know what the numbers were as far as how many coaches were planning on going to San Antonio. I know we were planning on going, but look, I think this is the smart move. I also think, frankly, I think it's the only move,
right?
Because there's a couple of things in play here. One is that obviously the safety of coaches is the ultimate concern here. We need to make sure that these coaches are safe, that we're not spreading the disease and things like that, and that coaches are safe. There's one thing. Secondly, look, I think this is an important step for the THSCA to be leaders on this issue.
Absolutely. Because
if you are going to tell your players, hey, you need to be social distancing, don't be going around playing grab butt with your friends at the pool party, but hey, by the way, we're going to go to San Antonio in a big convention hall for a couple of days. That rings kind of hollow, in my opinion.
Yep.
So I think that this was an important step for the THSCA to say, we're going to be leaders on this, and we're going to say, no, we're going to practice what we preach, and we need to make sure that we are being cognizant of the message that we're sending. Furthermore, now one thing I will say, and this is a difficult thing to talk about because it's not really my place to say, but I will just tell you that the convention and coaching school is a big revenue driver for the THSCA. The THSCA, this is obviously a huge organization with a ton of members, and they do a lot of work for coaches around the state of Texas, and they need funding to be able to do those things for coaches. And this is a big revenue driver for them. This is when they make, I don't know the numbers, but I would guess a significant portion of their annual revenue comes from this coaching school. So if there's coaches listening, I would say if you want to continue to support the THSCA and the things that they do, I would say register for the virtual convention and go there and listen to the, you can get all of the, not only the outstanding lectures that they have there, but also they have certification for safe tackling and things like that. So the Advis certification, you can get that online.
Heck, too, you're going to be sitting at home. I mean, other than maybe doing summer workouts, why in the world would you not take advantage of this. That honestly, I mean, at this point, it gives you something to do.
Sure.
Why not?
Sure. So anyway, that was the big news from the Texas high school football world yesterday. Was the THSCA has moved its annual coaching school to be virtual. It's a bummer. It's a bummer because it's and you've never experienced it, but it's a fun time. I will say.
Easy, bud.
I'll just say that the bars are already closed in San Antonio, so it's like, it's kind of losing a little bit of its luster.
Yeah.
but yeah.
No
anyway.
big red margaritas.
None of your big dumb margaritas that you get on the river. Anyway,
Fat party animal.
so there is that. This came down last week, late last week. There was some news coming out of College Station vis-a-vis the NCAA, and that is that the NCAA has placed Texas A&M football on probation after NCAA violations. They've been placed on a year-long probation and hit with several other penalties. This is Shahan Jairaj writing for TexasFootball.com. This was on Thursday for recruiting violations that occurred between January 2018 and February 2019. It sounds like there's a deal with countable activity hours, and then also in recruiting, and there was one. It was apparently there was a conversation with a high school athlete that was. It sounds like it was unintentional. Now, Jimbo Fisher was hit with a show cause with this, which basically means that he has to stay put for 6 months to go recruiting. Well, not like he was probably going anywhere anyway. So if it's going to happen there. But it would surround impermissible in-person recruiting meeting with an unidentified prospect before the completion of his junior year in high school. It was Fisher and former running backs coach Jay Graham took place in the meeting. And then there were workout violations that occurred in the spring and the summer. So what does this mean? So they're going to have limits. So Fisher and then Graham. I don't know where Jay Graham is now. But they are going to not be able to go to off-campus activities. Oh, Graham's at Tennessee now. They're going to have, not be able to go off-campus to recruit or be limited on that. They're going to lose 17 official visit days during the 2019 for the upcoming school year. They have an off-campus recruiting ban, $5,000 fine. There are a lot of little things. Here's the big headline here. The big headline here is NCAA put A&M on notice. And they basically said, look, we're slapping you on the wrist right now. We want to believe that these were unintentional, that they're small, petty things that maybe you just didn't dot your I's and cross your T's. That's fine. We're going to say, here's your warning. This is the warning shot here from the NCAA that says, keep your nose clean for the next year.
Again.
Keep your nose clean for the next year. Dot your I's and cross your T's. You do that, everything's fine. We'll be okay. If you don't, and we hear about other recruiting violations or things like that, that's when the hammer is going to drop. And that's when you're going to talk about losses of scholarships. That's when you're going to start talking about, other more severe penalties from the NCAA. This is I don't want to say it's not a big deal, because it is. Anytime the NCAA comes down and talks about your school, it's usually not good. But this is a warning. This is more of a warning than it is an actual enforcement penalty.
Right, and this is a big time to be getting a warning like that, too, solely for how everything in recruiting has been so different due to all the COVID stuff and the extra dead periods and all of that stuff. Like, they really do have to watch themselves right now more than anything, because what does the NCAA have to do right now other than extremely watch what's going on because of all the restrictions? So just lay low and don't do anything dumb.
This is the big thing. It's A&M. The biggest thing for me is that A&M just got to keep their nose clean for the next year. If they do that, this will go away and it'll be kind of a blip on the radar. But if recruiting violations crop up again, then they're going to be in trouble. Okay, let's talk about our good friend, our good personal friend. I really just can't stress enough what close friends we are with Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is, of course, the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs. He is, of course, the 2016 cover boy.
Which is his most impressive
That's what people
honor.
know him for.
Yeah.
And personally, if I were ever be put on a cover of a magazine, I would probably want to repay that company for doing that.
Yes.
The only
a generous donation. At
the
that.
only reason I say that is because yesterday Patrick Mahomes became the highest paid player in NFL history by agreeing to a 10-year. It's technically a 12-year deal. It is a 12-year deal that could end up being worth $503 million. That is a $500 million. Patrick.
Buddy.
Friend. You remember when we met in, I guess that was early April of 2016? I thought we really hit it off. We've got a photo together. In fact, I need to send you the photo so you can just pop it up every time.
No.
We have a photo together. We're good friends.
I saw a
Good friends.
tweet.
What I'm just going to say is, like, you're going to have 503 million of these dollars. That is a lot of those millions. I'd take one.
Just
If you want to just let me
One.
hold one for a minute, that would be super cool. Anyway, congratulations to Pat Mahomes.
I saw here's a tweet from Darren Rovell. He said, if Patrick Mahomes makes every dollar of his 10-year, $450 million contract, which obviously, like, there's the added bonus and stuff. But if
NFL contracts are weird.
If you just do the 10 years, $450 million contract, he will make $1.1 million every 9 days. Every 9 days. $1.1 million every 9 days. Like, I bet his girlfriend is sitting there going, hey, where's The Rock? Where is The Rock?
Yeah.
Because they've been dating for like 8 years.
I've been dating I think they met in White House.
Yeah, they've been dating for 8 years. I bet she is saying that thing better be heavier than I am.
Not bad for a 3-star prospect.
Yeah.
Anyway, congratulations to Pat Mahomes for getting paid. Well deserved. Well deserved.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Couple things on TexasFootball.com I want to put out there. One, I put up a new story today. We're starting a series called Sleeper Spotlight. Sleeper Spotlight. I wrote about Klein Kane and the Hurricanes. I think that this is a program that is on the verge of something big. I'm really excited that Klein Kane has a chance to make some noise. So I had a great conversation yesterday with James Clancy, their coach, and this is 100% true. I called him, so I texted him on Monday. I texted him on Sunday, and I said, hey, Coach, do you have a couple minutes tomorrow to chat? And he said, yeah, absolutely. Give me a call. Morning's better than the afternoon. Great. Gave him a call yesterday about 10:30. He picks up, and it's kind of loud in the background. And I was like, hey, Coach, is now an okay time? He's like, yeah. I'm just out on a boat on Table Rock Lake. What do you want to talk about? I was like, all right, Coach, cool. I'm glad you're social distancing. He's just out there on a boat. Like, good for him. Anyway, but we talked about his outstanding their breakout 2019 squad, the hopes for 2020. Of course, Jadon Blue, their outstanding running back, things like that. So we've got that up on the site. Steps region by region breakdowns are continuing. He put up 5A Division 2 Region 1 today, if you want to check that out. There's a great story from one of our interns, Cole Patterson, who wrote about Hooks' Devorius Clark, who missed 3 consecutive football seasons with injuries, and then last year came back and was an all-district guy. Really, really cool story there. So I want to invite you to check out TexasFootball.com for all the cool stuff. And check out our forums, TexasFootball.com/forums. They're popping right now. A lot of good conversation there about high school football and college football in the state of Texas at TexasFootball.com/forums. Anyway, there is all that.